Hey, I forgot to say this, so I'm going to put it at the beginning of the video. If you missed it, yesterday I posted a breakdown of Jonathan Taylor and what we can expect for our Dynasty leagues in year one, and if he is worth the 101 overall pick in your rookie drafts. I posted that on Patreon, but it was a part 2 of a video I posted on YouTube. So what I did is I made it available for everyone. Even if you are not a member of our Patreon, you can go down there and you can give it a listen for free. Go do that. It's in the description of this video. And yeah, have a great day, guys. Make sure you give this a like and make sure you subscribe.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I've been meaning to make this video. I think I'm the perfect person to make this video because a year ago, I don't think I would have necessarily been quote-unquote qualified just because I didn't necessarily understand how most people played Dynasty. I played in a lot of Dynasty leagues myself. I interacted with a couple other people who played in Dynasty leagues, but I did not have necessarily the level of interaction that I do now. As most of y'all know, as most of y'all are a part of, we run Patreon for this Dynasty channel, and we have a ton of guys on there, and I am constantly speaking with people on Patreon all throughout the day, pretty much every single day, and we're talking about trades, we're talking about startup drafts, and they are giving me their thought process behind their Dynasty moves and asking for my advice. And I've picked up on a few trends that I knew were kind of prevalent. Some of them I did not know about, but I am confident in saying that they are bad. For one reason or another, maybe they in the long run will make you a more inefficient Dynasty player. Maybe they will just make you more likely to make mistakes. But I think they are things we should be avoiding, and I think we should be trying to zig while other people zag. And I have, I believe, 5 or 6 things that I want to talk about right now. And first, let's talk about something that I swear to God, I talked to about 3 people yesterday telling them that you should not be doing this and we should be going a different way about it. And this is mapping out your startup draft. So I get this all the time, mainly from new people on Patreon who aren't necessarily too familiar with the community. Maybe they are kind of new to Dynasty, but it's something that's definitely a trend. And people will like to join a Dynasty startup draft and say, okay, guys, I like these players. I see the ADP. Mason, what do you think about me drafting player X in round 2, player Y in round 3, player Z in round 4, and then going about it that way and this being my team? Well, yeah, I mean, it's really fun to do that. It's fun to go out there and try to come up with the general strategy, but that's exactly what we should be doing. We should be coming up with a general strategy. If you are going in there and you are saying, I'm going to take this player in round X, you are going to lose your Dynasty startup draft, and I'm guaranteeing you that. Just because I know I've been playing this game long enough, none of us are that good where we can just go in there and we are so confident on our players where we can take them rounds above consensus and then come out on top. Yes, maybe that will work in a small sample size, but when you're in enough leagues, that's not going to work. There's too much variance where if you go in there and you try to map out your startup draft, if you try to go in there and say, you know what, I'm taking J.K. Dobbins round 3 of the startup draft no matter what. I mean, and then you go out there and you see that Nick Chubb falls to round 3, or you see that Allen Robinson is sitting there in round 4 while you planned on taking Jalen Reagor. I mean, this is a way that you go out there and you reach on your players in the startup draft. And what we should not be doing is we should not be reaching. We should be letting the draft come to us. I am perfectly fine with us going in there, and I do it myself. I go in there and I have a target list of players saying, you know what, I would like these guys on my team. These guys fit the format well, and I think that they would be very useful for the value that I'll be able to get them at. But by no means am I going out there and saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do in round 4. I'm going to go wide receiver, and I'm going to go wide receiver in round 5 and not let the draft come to you, especially in Dynasty startups, because in Dynasty startups, I mean, there's usually a 6-hour clock. That's how we do it with our Patreon startup drafts. So, I mean, what are we doing? You have to be flexible. You have to go in there with a generalized plan and adapt to the draft, and that's how you are going to win. That's how you're going to come out with not only the most value, but with the best players. Now, the second thing, I talk about this all the time, and I am sure y'all are tired of hearing me talk about it, but it has to be said, and this is handcuffing. Guys, I mean, 1 out of 12 people in your Dynasty league are going to win the league. There's only one winner out of 12 people playing. So if you go out there and you draft Nick Chubb in the 2nd round of your Dynasty startup draft, and you follow it up with taking Kareem Hunt in the 6th round to make sure that you have that locked in RB spot, that's not how you win. How you win is you go out there and you take a Miles Sanders in round 2 and you take a Kareem Hunt in round 6. Then if Nick Chubb gets hurt, you have 2 RB1s instead of just having one. We have to shoot for upside. And if you are handcuffing, especially with premium picks, I'm completely fine. Say you have Kenyon Drake and you're sitting there in round like 18 and you see that Chase Edmonds is the clear value on the board. Go ahead, go get Chase Edmonds, not a big deal. But handcuffing and going out there and planning on handcuffing is horrible. I mean, some of the worst advice that I hear is saying, oh, don't draft Dalvin Cook in round 2 because you're going to have to go out there and reach on Alexander Mattison in round 8. Guys, what are we talking about here? If you draft Dalvin Cook in round 2, Alexander Madison's almost completely off my board because me drafting Dalvin Cook in round 2 means I'm planning on Dalvin Cook playing 14 or more games this season so I can win my league. So what the hell am I doing trying to hedge my bets drafting Alexander Mattison? This is not a stock portfolio. I mean, we're not hedging bets here. We're going all out. We are trying to get first or last and no in between. Shoot for upside. Do not handcuff your players. Now, this is something that I'm going to shout you out. I know we have a lot of great interaction in the Dynasty chat. Really want to give you a big thank you for being so active. But here, toothpaste. I wrote this down one just for you. I get a ton of DMs through this as well. But we cannot be trading for our starting lineup at this point in the offseason. If you go out there and say, you know what, my top 2 wide receivers, I mean, they're pretty good, but my wide receiver 3, I mean, it's lacking. I'm going to go trade a running back for my wide receiver 3 right now. I'm going to go send out a message, and I'm going to go look for wide receiver 3s. But that's not what we should be doing at all. We should be looking for target players. We should be looking for value at this point in the offseason. You are so far away from having to start a lineup. You are so far away from hitting submit lineup that if you are thinking about it at any point right now, you were kind of just hurting your team. And I promise you, I know I get the itch as well. I sit there, I look at my rosters and go, oh, this team, it looks great. It has a ton of value, but you know what? I could use a better tight end and I have a surplus of wide receivers. Let me go out there and try to trade a wide receiver for a tight end. I don't care if I lose a little bit of value. This is what my team needs. Guys, at this point in the offseason, that's not what you should be doing. You should just be trading for value. You should just be trading to get your team to fit the format, not necessarily to create a starting lineup. Now, this is something that I don't necessarily get a lot of talk on from Patreon. I get a lot of people referencing it on other Dynasty podcasts, and it kind of annoys me. But this is looking at totals instead of points per game. I mean, I think the funniest thing ever is when people go out there and go, you know, oh my gosh, Jason Witten was the tight end 8 last season. I mean, yeah, congrats, Jason Witten. You're the tight end 8, but you're never going to finish more than the tight end 15 in any given week. I mean, if we are looking at totals, they're so skewed just because they give bonus to the players who played more games, even if they aren't winning you a week. I mean, and that's what we look for. Fantasy football is a week-by-week game. Maybe if you were playing in a best ball league, I understand looking at season totals, but most of us aren't playing in a best ball league. We're playing in a week-by-week league, and you should not be doing that. You should be looking at points per game. That's what's going to translate to wins, not necessarily season totals. So get out of here telling me, oh, look, Tyler Boyd was the wide receiver 13. I mean, he's a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. I mean, yeah, great for you, Tyler Boyd, playing 16 games. Does not mean you're going to win me a week. I want the guys that are going out there and scoring points when they're on the field, even if they got unlucky and last season they missed a couple of games. Now, this is one thing that I've noticed in every single Dynasty startup I participated in this offseason. I think I've done about 10 or 11 at this point. And this is people thinking that they are going to trade up. I may have worded that weird, but this is the guy who's sitting there with pick 106 in a startup draft going, hey, he sends in the group chat, I'm looking to trade down. Someone send me offers. And then sits there for an hour thinking he's going to get a single offer. If y'all haven't realized, guys, this is 2020. This is not 2016, 2017. I don't know if y'all played Dynasty back then, but if you didn't, I'm going to fill you in. Everybody was trying to trade up. Every message that you got in the group message was, hey, I'm trying to trade up. Someone trade with me. And then you're going out there and you can trade your first round pick for a second, third, and a future first round rookie pick. I mean, it used to be crazy the value that you could get with trading down, but now everyone's smart. Now everyone realizes that trading up in startup drafts is not necessarily the move. The price has gotten a lot cheaper to trade up, and that's because nobody really wants to trade up. If you want to trade down, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to be the one making the offers. You're going to have to go out there and say, hey, man, I got the 106. I'll trade it to you for the 4th and 5th round startup picks you have. I mean, that's a deal that can get done. But if you sit there on the clock thinking anybody is going to send you an offer, you are sadly mistaken. This is not the offseason. Last offseason, that really wouldn't have worked. Maybe if you play in a home league, maybe if you play in a league with a couple new guys, that can work. But in any experienced Dynasty league or startup, nobody's going to be sending you offers to trade up unless it's a rookie draft or you're later on in the startup draft and they see that someone clearly fell. I mean, rounds 1 and 2, you're rarely ever going to find someone looking to trade up if you just send a generic message that your pick is on the block. I mean, you're just kind of wasting everyone's time. Go out there and send offers yourself. Similar to that, I just want to say, the last thing that people are doing right now to make dynasty moves is, you know how many leagues I'm in and you know how many trades I've seen this offseason due to someone sending in the group chat, hey, I'm looking to move Dalvin Cook, send me offers. Nobody's sending you offers. That does not happen anymore because people are kind of scared to send offers. It's sad to say, but if you want to make a trade, you're going to be the one having to go out there and sending an offer to every single person in the league. I mean, I don't even think I really send that many messages in group chats anymore saying that a player's on the block unless I've went out there and I've already sent an offer to every single owner in the league. And that's what you have to do. You have to go to MFL. I mean, most of y'all should be playing on MFL. If you're playing on Sleeper, that's another thing people do wrong at Dynasty. Go to the rosters tab, find the player that you want to trade on your team, and scroll down, look at every single roster, formulate a trade that you would like from that team, send it over their way. You send the initial offer. You can't necessarily just put someone on the block and expect offers to flood your inbox. That's not really how this works anymore. It's sad to say. I would love if I can just go to every single league, type in the morning, hey guys, send me offers for player X. They come back at my computer that night and then sit there and look at 30 different offers. It's not how it works. Nobody's really going to do that. Maybe you get one, and when you do get that one, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a horrible offer, and it's mainly just going to be a spam offer. You have to be the one. You have to be the one going out there and making a move if you are specifically looking to move a player. But that's all I got for y'all, guys. I really hope this helped y'all out. I know it's kind of like just a short little rant, but it's something that I need to say. I mean, I'm dealing with this stuff every single day. And yeah, have a great day, guys.